Hello and welcome to Kramer's Corner with a daily technical update. It is Friday, the 21st of March. So, sorry there was no update yesterday. I was traveling. I couldn't get it near a reasonable internet. In this educational video, we'll go straight to the S&P 500. There's no advice. There's no recommendation whatsoever. But it's just to give you an idea of what I think could happen on the market, and also how I use technical analysis. So S&P 500, I think it's range bound here. After being sold off, it's bounced back. And if it takes out 5,715 and a close above, then I think we could see a bounce up to 5,800, maybe a little bit higher, maybe up to 5,850. If it takes out 5,597, then I think we will see a push towards the previous lows here, just above 5,500, possibly all the way down to 5,400. The Nasdaq 100, more or less same picture really, testing the resistance here at 19,880. If it takes out 19,944 and preferably with a close, then I think we'll see a bounce up to 20,325, maybe around the 20,500, but we should see it up to around the 200 moving average. If it takes out 19,397, then I think I will also see a new lows, taking out the lows here. That is of course support, and dip below 19,000. The Dow Jones Index, well, more or less the same thing. It's bounced really strongly, and what I will do, I'll take this one, I can reuse it down here and say, okay, if it takes out 41,412, then I think a downtrend will resume. European market and EURUSTOXX50 was a little bit lower yesterday. But today, Friday, I think we could see it maybe try to crawl back higher. But we're in this correction phase here. It needs to close below 5,285 to move into bearish territory. But for now, it's still holding on. I think we'll see it trying to. If it takes out 5,515, then I think we'll see a new peak. Pre-market, it is unchanged. The DAX index also sold off Friday, 1.25%. We can actually draw a horizontal line here. See, okay. If it takes out the previous high here, like a double top pattern here, then we could see a push above 24,000. But it needs to take out the peak here, 23,476. Key support here, 22,148. Euro dollar is in a correction phase after testing the key resistance here at 109.3540. Peaked above a couple of times, actually closed above, but I think we could see a correction down to around 107.60, 107.25, where we also have the 200 moving average and the 38.2 retracement. I think we could dip to that, and then we will start moving higher again. If it starts taking out 109.55 to peak here, then I expect a push towards 111. Excuse me. We have the sterling dollars, basically trading, just testing the 130 here, 130.50 key strong resistance. We could still see it sliding towards the 128 support area. It is a little bit stressed, but we are in an uptrend, so of course stress the trend, but do be aware of corrections. The correction we got in euro sterling, you see it dipped below the 200 moving average and below the 38.2 retracement where we're trading at the moment. We are dipped almost all the way down to the 50%. Could actually dip to the 61.8 at 83.20, but I'm not quite sure because we have some strong support here. We have the 55 coming up. We have the cloud support. We're still positive sentiment on the RSI with no divergence, indicating we're likely to see higher levels on euro sterling. Dollar yen, well, it has tested the upper falling trend line now a couple of times. And it is here early morning, still trying to do that, meaning it could be potential to 151.25, especially if it takes out the 150.15 spike up there, then I think we'll see it. But we have all the moving average coming down here, giving it a hard time, giving it really a pressure to the downside. So even if we get a correction up there, I think then we'll see it turning around and continue and resuming downtrend. If it takes out 147.20 and especially these levels here, then we're looking at 144.80, 142 area down here, and we are still in a bearish trend. It needs to close above 151.30 to reverse the bearish trend. The euro yen in a correction phase, it couldn't really push all the way to 165. Now testing support here at 161.18 and down to the 38.2. Very few pips from it, 160.60, where there's some support. Still positive sentiment on the RSI, indicating likely higher levels or higher highs on euro yen, but we could still see a correction, maybe even down to 160 area here, and then a bounce. If it starts pushing back above the falling trend line and back above the 200 moving average, then I would expect a push up to 165. The Aussie yen, well, that breakout there didn't hold on for very long, and it seems to me that we are starting resuming downtrend. Still negative sentiment on the RSI, didn't close above 60 threshold, so it's a sign of weakness. That also means for Aussie yen really to establish a bullish trend, it needs to close or actually get back above the 95.75 and RSI to close above 60 threshold. Otherwise, we're just in a wait and see here. But it can actually slide to test the previous lows and support here at 91.79. Sterling yen got rejected here at 194.85 and is back below the 200 moving average and 100 moving average, testing the upper part of cloud. I think we can remove this one. It's not really interesting. Will it slide back here? It's hard to say, because we actually do have positive sentiment on the RSI indicating we could move higher, and we are in a bullish trend, higher high, higher low, higher highs and higher lows. So if it takes out 194.85, then expect a bullish move higher. Aussie dollar, well, still caught range bound. Not much to say really. 64.10 and 61.90. That's really the breakouts. So not really much to say there. So let's skip it and move on to dollar Canada. That is back below the cloud. It's below the 55 moving average, but above the 100. And I've drawn this trend line here. Maybe that could give a little bit of support if it takes out the lows here a couple of days ago at 142.63. So let's say 142.60. Then I think we will see a push down to 141.20 support area. And to the upside, it needs to take out 145.50. Then it will resume the bullish trend. And there's actually positive sentiment on the RSI indicating we are likely to see a bullish push, but hasn't materialized just yet. Sterling Canada still correction potential down to 183.75, 183.45 level here, and then a push higher. We are a little bit stressed on the uptrend, but if it starts taking out the peak here, then expect the uptrend to resume. EURUSD is testing the minor support here at 95.64. Dipped below a couple of times, and if it takes out the lows there from yesterday, well, then we're looking at 94.90, possibly down to the 200 moving average. The dollar index, the dollar Swiss, we can get to the dollar index in a minute. Dollar Swiss testing the 87.65 key support here a couple of times, dipping a little bit below. If it starts taking out 88.65, then I think we will see a push to 89.25, possibly up to just below 90. But then we have the cloud support, the resistance, and the 55 moving average. We have the dollar index now crawling back above 103.28. I'm really babbling this morning. I'm truly sorry. There is potential up to 104.40, and we have maybe also up to the 200 moving average, just around 104.77. But before I think we will see downtrend resuming. We have all moving average declining at the moment, so I think it's just a matter of time before we see it declining again. Gold pushed higher to 3,050 and a bit, 3,058 almost. Now we could possibly see a correction. We reached the 176.4 projection. There's still room up to 3,080, and also medium term I still believe in 3,100. Let's remove this one. I think it's almost obsolete now. Did we get... there's still a little bit divergence actually. You see the RSI is still declining, so we are a bit stressed. So I think I will do this, and then I will add a Fibonacci to it, and think we could get a little bit of correction, maybe here short term, maybe down to just below 3,000. Not quite sure we'll get all the way down to that actually. It seems fairly strong, but it depends what it does here towards the end of the weekend. Will we get a little bit of a top reversal pattern, then the test of 3,000, and then we'll take off again? It remains to be seen. But it seems still very young, but very strong. But it is still in a bullish trend. The silver got up to 138.2 retracement, and then we got a correction, and we can get an idea how big that could be. Oops. Sorry, I missed that one. Let's do that again, and then add a Fibonacci to that uptrend there, and we could get a correction down. We can see we're almost at the 38.2. I think we got down to 32.53, which is half of the uptrend, and maybe even down to 32.12, which is 61.8, which has very strong down support there. So that is not as strong as gold. We have, on the other hand, copper that is really pushing higher here. We can see on the weekly chart what's really going on. And we talked about it for a very long time. Then I think we'll see the 520 being hit fairly short very soon. Well, we are very close to. Yesterday we got to 514.80, and we are in a strong bullish trend. No divergence on the RSI. We are likely to push higher, but expect some corrections here. But I haven't seen a top reversal pattern just yet. On the energy side, let me just resize this here on the WTI. We can see it's testing resistance 68.42, and I think we could see a push maybe up to 70 levels, 70.45 maybe even. And what is interesting to look at is that Brent Crude actually has broken above its resistance at 72, and next is 72.75, maybe 73.78. Key will be what will happen with the RSI here at 60 threshold. Will be rejected, or will it close above? That's key towards. If it does close above, then there's further upside potential in crude oil. We have EU nat gas, Dutch TTF gas closed above minor resistance here at 43.68. Then it was sliding a little bit back, but it could be a little bit of bullish. But I think we could see it up to 45.18. If it takes out the lows here at 40 euros, then a downtrend will resume. And finally, US nat gas, well, it has starting to sell off yesterday and also early this morning. 374 is next support. I think it will be tested. If it takes it out, well, then we could see a push down to 3.5, 330. The US 10-year Treasury yields, well, resuming downtrends, are still negative sentiment, but holding on above 40 threshold. If there's close below 40 threshold, then I think we'll see also maybe this 410 here be taken out. Then we're looking at 4%. It really needs to get back above 435, 436 to establish a bullish trend. The 2-year still in this range here between 4.05 and 3.84. On the European yields, we have the EU 10-year. I still think it could test the 38.2 retracement there at 272, possibly also the 265 before resuming uptrend. We have the UK one that dipped a little bit lower yesterday, only to bounce. So I think it could be start resuming uptrend here towards 480. And finally, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is starting to show some strength here. It's crawling higher. It's towards 88,000. Could crawl higher towards the 90,000. But then we have the 55 moving average coming down. That kind of putting a lid on it here, and we'll try to push it lower. There's no clear direction other than we are still in a bearish trend. Lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, and so on. And we could still resume downtrend. I think if we push back below 80,000, then we are looking at 73,000 again. And finally, Ethereum also bounced, and I think it could test the upper falling trend line here and the 2100, maybe even a 2200 here shortly, and then I think it will be knocked back and it could test the 1755 key support again. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day and a nice weekend when you get to there. Talk to you again Monday.